Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your host J-Rock right here. Now today, we're going to be reviewing something from the house of Mancera. What is that? It would be this, Mancera Red Tobacco. This would be the box. All the Mancera boxes are the same, just different color palettes. This one comes in this pouch. They all come in a pouch, which will also be different color pouches, right? Depending on the bottle you get. And this is the bottle itself. Mancera Red Tobacco. Lovely design. I love the design on this bottle. Has this red tint to it, which I'm a big fan of. This gold on the bottom, goes all the way through. Black cap, and it has gold on the top of the cap as well. The cap itself, it's kind of light. Some of the other Mancera ones are heavier. They're like metal. This one's more like plastic. But this one has this like gold trim around the sticker. Some of the other ones don't have that. Just depends on the ones you get. I think they have like 3 or 4 different lines. This particular bottle, it's a screw-on. You screw it on and off. The new ones, I believe they're magnetic, and the sprayer would be different. This one, the sprayer has some space in between, so you press it once at a time. The other one is pressure control, meaning the longer you hold it, the more it will just keep spraying, right? So that's some slight differences to watch out for in case you get a bottle that's magnetic or the sprayer is different. Doesn't mean it's bootleg or anything. It just means they went a different route with the design of the bottles themselves. They look the same, but the atomizer and the cap are not different, right? Why they went with that change, I have no idea. They just did, right? Some people like the new ones more. Some people like the old ones. We all have our preference, right? So let's talk about this fragrance a little. Man, this one took me on a roller coaster ride. I'll tell you that right now. It was not love at first sight. Now, what do I think about it now?
Oh, this shit is gonna get interesting right here.
Let's talk about it. Here's a sprayer. Out in the air, I get almost like a cherry smell to it, like a syrupy cherry. When it's in the air, and some incense, which smells nice if you like a sweet, you know those cherries that you put on ice cream sundaes? I get some of that in here, and the bottle almost reminds me of that as well. So, once you spray it on skin, it gets a little tricky here. I hated the opening at first. The more I wear it, the more I get used to the opening. Doesn't mean the opening got better. It just means I kind of got more used to it, right? Now, this opening will last about 15 minutes or so, give or take, you know, depending on your skin and you know how much of the spray landed on you, how much you sprayed and whatnot. I do one spray on skin on my... Okay, so on this opening, what I get is this pear that really turned me off. I was like, what's up with this pear? What is it doing here, right? So, what this pear is doing is, you get some other notes that go along with it that make it smell kind of funky. Like it has some saffron in the opening and it has some green apple. So I was trying to think what other notes are around it that is giving it this smell. It's a bunch of notes in the opening at least on online from what I could get. There was a bunch of notes and I was like, which ones are the ones I'm getting here? I'm getting the green apple. I'm getting the pear for sure. But then when I was reading more the notes, see which ones were in the opening, the ones that kind of made sense to me, I was like, I think it's the pear in combination with, it has saffron here. The saffron is there all the way through. But when you get this saffron mixed with this green apple, the green apple isn't as strong, but it gives it just enough of a twist where it doesn't just smell like a nice pear, right? It has this like green apple that don't fit with the pear. And then the saffron as well. So now the pear comes off almost like a dirty, earthy pear, right? So saffron can add some masculinity to rose fragrances. It manlies them up a little, right? So here with this pear, it gives it this like earthiness, right? That you could call it a spiciness, I guess, as well. But it makes this pear off-putting. I feel like those notes don't mesh well together, right? They're kind of becoming an abomination in my opinion. Now, like I said, this opening, it can go sometimes 5-10 minutes. Sometimes I feel like it's still there 15 minutes later. So it depends, right? Depends on the weather, the wind and whatnot, how long it's gonna be there. But it won't be there more than 15 minutes. Hey, now as far as performance, I would say you get 5 hours of solid projection, and then I still get at least another 3 hours. So this fragrance goes at least 8 hours. You know, your mileage may vary. Sometimes it could go longer, depending on how heavy you spray and on the weather conditions. Now me, let's say the first 3 hours, it's like a 10 projection, right? It's like, it smells pretty strong. The next 2 hours, being the 4th and 5th hour, still pretty strong, but it's more like a 8, right? 7.5 or a 8. Now after those 5 hours, once we get to hour 6, 7, 8, it's more like a 4. It's a little bit more moderate projection, but it's still stronger than a lot of other fragrances, right? So performance is not an issue. At least it shouldn't be, right? The projection should be there, and the longevity, it should be there. I'm pretty sure this lasts more than 8 hours. I just kind of stopped counting around that time because at that time I was still getting a good projection. It wasn't a skin scent. After that harsh opening, you're gonna get some vanilla kicking in. Now this vanilla is a game changer because it stops that pear from being so harsh, right? And like overbearing. So once you get the vanilla, it sweetens it up a little bit. The incense and saffron that are there from the top notes are there still in the mid notes, right? But now with that vanilla, you get some cinnamon kicking in as well. That gives it a little bit of a spiciness. And you get a little bit of woodsy notes. It says it has sandalwood, but these woodsy notes to me don't come off, they don't come off creamy. It doesn't, because sandalwood could come off creamy, at least to me. This doesn't feel creamy. It feels like woodsy notes, but like a different type of woods, right? So the cinnamon, saffron, and incense together, I'm pretty sure with a few other notes, give you the feeling that it smells like tobacco, right? But I don't know, to me it doesn't. It smells like tobacco, but it doesn't, if that makes sense, right? Like it smells like it's a bunch of different notes coming together. They give it a tobacco smell as opposed to just a tobacco note, right? So there is kind of a difference between the two things. But I get that feel when I'm smelling it. I'm like, it feels like it's a few different notes that come together. And I'm like, it's the incense and the saffron along with other stuff that gives it like a tobacco vibe. So now what you're going to get is a tobacco and some sweetness from the vanilla. All the while on that mid note, the pear still comes and goes. At least to my nose, like sometimes I still smell it, sometimes I don't. But once it's along with all these other notes now in the middle, it doesn't smell bad, and it just gives it a slight tweak, right? Like it smells slightly different, then it goes back to the main smell. So yeah, all in all, I thought this was a solid fragrance. I really came around to it. At first, I was not a fan of it, and I came around and I kind of changed my mind on it. I just didn't give the mid notes much of a chance because that opening was so bad that I just didn't give it a chance, right? I immediately wrote it off. I was like, I don't want to try it. So yeah, you gotta be patient. If you can't wear something you don't like smelling for 15 minutes, you're like, nah, I want it to smell good right from the beginning, then this fragrance is not gonna be for you because that opening is tough. The dry down, meaning after once we get to about 7-8 hours, you're gonna be left with some amber kicks in, right? That's kind of like at the base. So you're gonna get the amber, the vanilla, and some incense. Kind of a scent you smelled a lot in other fragrances. But yeah, this was a wild ride for me. Like I went back and forth, like don't like the opening, do I even like the middle, and not liking it, kind of wanting to like it, not liking it, and then once I tried it a few times now, I'm like, you know what, this is pretty good, and it projects really good in when it's windy in the air. You get a nice sillage with this. It makes it feel like if it's beast mode because the sillage, the air, is just pushing it everywhere, right? So other people could smell it. And I also sometimes I get this sweet cherry note that I got when I sprayed it in the air. That syrupy cherry. That's also a smell that kind of comes in and out, right? Like it's there, then it's not there, then it's there. So this has a lot of crazy things going on. It's not a simple fragrance. It's very complicated in my opinion. Like when you're paying attention to it, there's a lot of different things going on. They go, come back, go. So it's like you're getting two different scents almost, right? And not just one scent all the way through. So yeah, like I said, this one can be a bit challenging. It's not gonna be for everybody. And even if you do like these type of fragrances, this one is kind of complicated. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. People say this smells like Harad. What do I think? I think there's some strong similarities to Harad, but at the same time, it's kind of its own thing because, like I said, this is almost like a chameleon. It kind of just changes on you, right? So if you own Harad, do you need to own both? Probably not, because they're in the same, they drive in the same lane, right? But if you do buy both, they are different enough where it's not just redundant, right? It's not like, oh, I'm buying the same thing twice. it has differences because this one changes a lot on you. As for Harad, I feel like it doesn't do that. And I would say this leans more masculine in my personal opinion, even though I believe it was originally marketed towards women. I mean, we can all wear what we want, right? But I feel this has a little bit of a like raunchiness to it, right? That makes it more masculine. But yeah, all in all, I think, like I said, this was a little bit challenging. Not gonna be for everybody. You're just gonna have to, get a decant, try it out, sample it, see if it's for you. I would say this does wonders when you're in the cold air, where it's windy and so forth. This is where you really want to wear this. Other than that, I think I said all I need to say about this fragrance. Hopefully you guys liked the review. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to hear me talk more about fragrances, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way it'll notify you on your feed every time I upload a new video. Other than that, I just like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk fragrances a little bit. And I'll check you guys out next time.